Christian author Phillip Yancey recently confessed his heartbreaking story of adultery. Yancey engaged in an 8-year affair with a married woman while maintaining the facade of a man walking with God. Folks, this podcast is not about pointing the finger at Phillip Yancey. As my dad often said, we are all just one bad decision from throwing it all away. However, every year brings new revelations of Christian leaders who have fallen prey to the usual suspects: adultery, porn, homosexual behavior, failed marriages, or financial indiscretions. But folks, here's what gives me hope. There have been many men like my dad, Bill Bright, who finished strong. The question for you and me is, what made the difference? How did they say no to the bad choices while others gave in? I mean, folks like Gordon MacDonald, Jim Baker, Jimmy Swaggart, Carl Lentz, Ted Haggard, Paula White, Ravi Zacharias, and now Phillip Yancey have fallen. Some have truly repented, but some haven't. Fortunately, Yancey has, as evidenced by his stepping away from public ministry as the Bible instructs. Now, I've heard these sad stories all my life. They're nothing new. By the way, do you know the one thing that almost all of these folks had in common? They never dreamed it would happen to them. Never. So here's the million-dollar question. If a guy like Phillip Yancey fell, what makes you think you're not going to? If a guy like the Apostle Peter could fall so hard and fast, why do you assume that you won't? Do you really think you're smarter or stronger than Phillip Yancey or the Apostle Peter? You're not. I'm not either. My dad knew he was as weak as the next guy. As I already mentioned, he said on multiple occasions that he was just one bad decision from throwing it all away. And that was not some disembodied theoretical statement. Folks, it flowed from an unnerving circumstance he experienced as a young believer. Today, I'm going to tell you that story, one you have never heard. As Bill Bright's son, he told me stories of when he had faced temptation that I doubt he ever told anyone else other than maybe my older brother. It was far too personal. I know he never told my mother, and until today, I've never told the story outside my own family. I'm sharing this story with you because I want you to know how to finish strong. It's not an impossible hill to climb. Bill Bright did it. So you can. So can I, by the grace and mercy of God. This is Brad Bright. Welcome to the God is Issue podcast, where I show how God is the issue in every issue. Why? Well, because we can trace all our human problems to our view of God. Now, folks, if you find this podcast helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. And when subscribing, don't forget to click on the bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new podcast. Now, before I dive in, I want to encourage you to listen to the very end. I've included a music video that's premiering on this podcast. I hope it will encourage you as much as it does me. Now, let me return to the million-dollar question. Why did Phillip Yancey fall while Bill Bright stood strong to the very end? What made the difference? My dad said it boiled down to two choices. I'm going to talk about those two choices today. They are two choices that any follower of Jesus can make, and in fact, must make if they want to finish strong. When my dad launched Campus Crusade for Christ, he was acutely aware of how he had viewed pastors and religious leaders before his conversion. He thought they were all in it for money or sex. As a result, after starting Campus Crusade, he decided he would never be alone with a woman who was not a family member. And he decided he would never be the person to sign any of Campus Crusade's financial instruments, so that he would never even be tempted to engage in financial impropriety. However, folks, those were not the two critical decisions that I referred to earlier. I'll get to those in a moment. But first, let me tell you the backstory that was behind his statement, "I'm only one bad decision from throwing it all away." He told me this in one of those very personal father-son conversations when I was in my 20s. You see, my dad attended Hollywood Presbyterian Church as a young believer. It's where all the up-and-coming, beautiful people in Hollywood went to church. They were my dad's friends. One of them was a beautiful young starlet. He never told me her name, and I never asked, so don't even bother to ask me who it was. But one day, shortly after he married my mom, he suddenly began feeling an overwhelming sexual attraction to this young starlet. He began wondering if he had made a mistake in marrying Vonette Zachary. He repeatedly fell to his knees, pleading with God to remove the temptation. Now, this went on for a few months, but then one day it vanished just as quickly as it had come. He realized after it was over that it had been a spiritual attack on him from the very pit of hell. But folks, he never forgot that experience. So whenever he said, "I'm only one bad decision from throwing it all away," what he meant was, I was only one bad decision from throwing it all away. Folks, what enabled him to stand? Well, it was two choices. The first choice was a contract he signed with God. He signed away all his earthly rights and desires for fame, fortune, influence, and the applause of men. In his own words, he became a slave of Jesus. And that decision laid the rails for a lifetime of faithful ministry. But it was the second choice that enabled him to stay on those rails. It was his choice every morning to roll out of bed and onto his knees, renewing his initial commitment to God. To let God speak with his lips, love with his arms, and walk with his feet. It was the choice to spend that first hour of every morning communing with the Creator God, and then committing every moment of that day to him, to every meeting, every decision, every relationship, every thought. Now, without that daily choice, he would have been unable to say no to his desire for that young starlet. He would have made the same choice Phillip Yancey made years later. Now, every morning, it was the choice to get his focus and priorities in the right place before he did anything else. Now, as we begin the new year, you can make that same choice too. Today, you can make the commitment to be a slave of Jesus. It's the only way you'll ever be free. And then you can wake up every morning for the rest of your life and renew that promise on your knees before you start your day. Will you make that commitment today? Do you want to finish strong? Let me be blunt. Either you will choose to be a slave of Jesus, or you will be a slave to your own desires, your sinful desires. It's a black and white choice. Now, do you find that offensive? If you do, get over yourself. Don't let pride kill you. It destroyed Lucifer, and it destroyed so many over the centuries. The watershed issue of life is, who will be your master? There is no one else in all of history that I would trust to call master other than Jesus. I don't know Phillip Yancey personally, but I can guarantee you that's where Phillip Yancey veered off the rails. His choice to commit adultery was merely a symptom. My wife and I recently watched the movie Red One, which is a comedy about Santa Claus being kidnapped. For the record, we watched it on VidAngel so we could censor out a few choice words and scenes. Now, let me encourage you to not watch the movie unless you have VidAngel. But one of the characters, Callum Drift, played by Dwayne Johnson, you know Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, big boy, he made a profound statement. He said, "We choose every day who we want to be." And folks, you make that choice by choosing who you are going to follow today. Now, as I close, let me leave you with a statement from that wise sage, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Build a routine. Do it no matter what. When you can't, don't quit or beat yourself up. Just do it the next day. Show up over and over. It's the only thing that works. Folks, make it your routine to wake up every morning, commune with a God who loves you, committing that day to let him speak with your lips, love with your arms, and walk with your feet. That's how you finish strong. That's how to avoid becoming the next Phillip Yancey. Now, for those of you who currently find yourselves in the middle of intense temptation or have even succumbed to temptation, get out of isolation today. Do it now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Swallow your fear and pride, and find someone you can trust to walk with you through your dark valley. It's possible to do it alone, just you and God, but it's infinitely harder. Folks, and then commit to start every day on your knees, pleading and talking with God to walk with you. God is the issue in every issue, especially the issue of standing strong to the end. Now, please take a few minutes to listen to this music video. It's called The Choice. You can also find it at brightmedia.org. I think it will greatly encourage you. This is Brad Bright. Thanks for joining me today. God bless.
A new day is dawning, sunlight rushes in, my head's already spinning with all there is to do. But before I throw the covers back, a battle must be won. I must choose whose race I'm going to run. Whose voice will I listen to? Whose words will I heed? Whose strength will I depend upon? Whose will I choose? The enemy is fighting to win my heart and mind. His words are so tempting and they seem to blur the line. But with everything I have inside, I'll hold on to what is true. Not my will, but yours be done. Lord, I long to walk with you. Whose voice will I listen to? Whose words will I heed? Whose strength will I depend upon? Whose will I choose? I choose to walk with you all through my day. I choose to walk with you, my King. Take my hand, hold me steady. Let me hear your voice, guiding each step I take, giving strength for each step I take, making sure that each step I take takes me closer to you. Your voice I will listen to, your words I will heed, your strength will I depend upon, your will I choose. Your voice will I listen to, your words will I heed, your strength will I depend upon, your will I choose, your will I choose.